Just got hit in the back of the head with a triple ball hit.
Fuck!
What's going on, guys? It's Doss. Welcome back to another real world vehicle ownership review video, where certified used car enthusiast Doss Dedicated speaks about real world ownership and reliability on great used vehicles, especially the homies. It's obvious pickup trucks are the #1 choice when it comes to the most practicality in a vehicle, at least for civilian use. So if you're not sure if you want to go old, new, or somewhere right in the middle, thankfully I got a pretty interesting, helpful story time reliability update for you, because this particular truck has been owned by one owner, the current, obviously, since day one. He's left the keys in my possession for the night so I can create the greatest General Motors full-size half-ton pickup truck reliability update review video that's ever existed. Right behind me in the sheet metal is a 2019 GMC Sierra SLE, which was provided by a coworker, the homie Caesar. His Instagram will be linked in the description below. So let's get started. So you know we got to get started with the important stuff underneath the hood. Has there been any problems, issues with the powertrain, stuff like that? Now this, if it wasn't obvious enough from the badging on the front fenders, this is a 5.3 liter V8. Now the current and only owner has informed me that he has not had any issues with at least what's underneath the hood of this truck. But since we're down here, you can see he's made a couple of modifications. He's told me he's added a tuner and also an intake around 40,000 miles. And you can also take a glorious look at the 5.3 liter V8, which back in 2019 at least generated about 355 horsepower and about 383 pound-feet of torque. This engine bay definitely looks a lot similar to the previous generation, like the 2017 type year models, which was a great year as well. I'll tell you why I am very familiar with that particular truck in a second. Pretty interesting fact that I learned last night while doing my research on these General Motors half-ton full-size pickup trucks is that this is considered GMC's 5th generation for the Sierra. Meanwhile, Chevy is on their 4th generation for the Silverado. The reason why I'm confused is because these two trucks are basically the exact same thing underneath the sheet metal, but here's the history between both generations, starting with the GMC Sierra name, which first went on sale back in 1988 all the way to 1998 for the first generation. The second generation was from 1999 to 2002. The second generation facelift was 2003 to 2006. The third generation was 2007 to 2013. The fourth generation was 2014 to 15. The fourth generation facelift was from 2016 to 18. This fifth generation was 2019 to 2021, which is also when they introduced the little 2.7 liter 4-cylinder, which I think they still offer in these trucks today. And then the fifth generation facelift is from 2022 to the current, now the present day. And then the Chevrolet Silverado name, which first went on sale back in 1999 all the way to 2006 for the first generation. Then you have the second generation following up from 2007 all the way to 2013. The third generation from 2014 to 2015. Third generation facelift 2016 to 2018. Fourth generation 2019 to 2021. Fourth generation facelift following up after that in 2022 till now the present day. Both trucks obviously basically the same blueprint underneath all the sheet metal, so they still offer the exact same engine. I guess as your base option would be the 2.7 liter 4-cylinder turbo, followed up with the 5.3 liter V8, a 3.0 turbo diesel, a 3.0 inline 6, or the 6.2 liter V8. Along with a 10-speed or 8-speed automatic transmission, 4-wheel drive obviously available for these trucks. Now I know that was kind of a short engine segment for this truck in this video. The 5.3s seem to be pretty solid for the most part if you take care of them, just like any other combustion engine in the history of automobiles, period. But Caesar has informed me about other powertrain related issues, such as the transmission valve body was replaced under warranty around 32,000 miles. He was experiencing hard downshifts when coming to a complete stop, kind of like a rear end collision. And then also a very similar situation as to what I just experienced. He had some rear differential issues, some noises, some roaring, kind of like what I demonstrated in my previous F-150 video. Although he had his differential rebuilt, I took mine to a shop and they recommended me just replace the entire axle because everything was fried up underneath my truck. But either way, he took care of that around 75,000 miles, and now both of our rear diff nice and quiet, so we can listen to that great 8-cylinder V8 rumble as we float down the street. Since we're down here, he did mention that he did replace all 4 shocks and wheels and tires, obviously, at some point a little bit after the transmission was serviced. Something I forgot to ask him about that I noticed while driving this truck is what kind of exhaust he has exactly. I can see the muffler over there. Doesn't look like a Resignator or your regular Super 10, but it does sound pretty good. And also looks good due to these double pipes that come out behind the rear wheel. I will admit, even though I do tend to make fun of these 5'7" beds on these full-size trucks, this one seems like it's got a little bit more room than usual, because around this time, these particular generations of General Motors full-size half-ton trucks, General Motors decided to push these walls out as far as they can so you can have even more room along the wheel wells in this truck. And as you will notice, this is not your multi-pro tailgate that they were also offering, because this is obviously a SLE model. I think those multi-pro tailgates were only offered with the Denali's, at least back in 2019. But back here on the tailgate, you do have your backup camera, which I think was required by the government at that point. You have a light right here, and you have your rubber tailgate release, which the taillights do their little dance, which, by the way, he did tell me that one of these LED strips on the taillight went out, so he replaced them. And then back here, as you can see, he's definitely had some truck action going on. I do like these little steps that are integrated in these rear bumpers on these General Motors trucks, but get back here and take a look. This is not bad. For a little 5'7" bed, you can definitely do quite a bit of work. As you can see, he's already done. And what makes this bed even better than both of my truck beds is that he has some lights in here. I'm pretty sure they're operated by a button somewhere in the driver's area in the cab of the truck. And also 3 tie downs in each corner of the beds. Holy crap, 12 tie down spots? So if you can't find a legit way to secure your cargo in the bed of this thing, you might want to reconsider what you're hauling. Also notice there's no spray-in bedliner, no drop-in bedliner, no bedliner mat, which is definitely the way to go. If you have a pickup truck, you might as well use it for what it's for, right? Especially when it comes to the business end, the reason being behind a pickup truck in the first place, right? One thing I do want to cover real quick about the exterior styling, the controversy between the mirror placement. I actually like it. I love it a lot. Just like when they revealed the heavy-duty Silverado, there's a lot of mixed emotions about the headlight situation, just the way the truck looked overall. But these mirrors, to me, are pretty awesome. I like how they're different. They're not right here on the base of the window like how they normally are, especially the towing mirrors. I like the towing mirrors a lot better than these because they look like little stacked up Legos pretty much. Anything that you don't like, I love it. I like how it's different when they try to think outside the box and just do something completely bizarre. Let me talk about my personal opinion on these particular generations of General Motors full-size half-ton pickup trucks. I honestly think General Motors did an amazing job when it comes to these current generations of trucks. I just think that they released them at the wrong time, because let's go back to graduation year 2019 when these 2 current generation of General Motors full-size half-ton pickup trucks were released. But they weren't the only full-size American-made pickup trucks that had a completely brand new generation for sale that year. Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Fiat, Ram, Stellantis, Mopar, whatever you want to call it, released their 5th generation of the Ram 1500, which was a little bit bigger of a deal than this truck, because unless you were born yesterday, you would know Chrysler, Stellantis, Fiat, Mopar, whatever, is not necessarily known for putting more money into their products, but it seems like it was worth the wait due to how impressive the Ram 1500s just were, which is why in 2022, when they updated this particular generation of the General Motors trucks, they added a bigger screen and a couple more features just to keep up with the way Ram was going about things, especially the interior. Other than that, though, as far as exterior goes, he has added some new fog lights. I forgot the exact reason. And then he's replaced the factory antenna with that little bronze bullet right there, as you can see. Damn, it's just something about driving to the homie's house, picking up his General Motors truck, cleaning it, and then dropping it off the next morning. Just reminds me of them good old high school days when I actually used to do that. Shout out to the homie Alex if he's watching. Although his truck was a brand new black 2017 lifted ZL1, also had the 5.3 under the hood. I was doing such a great job that his dad wanted me to do the same procedure with his work truck, which is a 2016 King Ranch with the 7-foot bed, massive crew cab with the big Rancher grill on the front of it. Good times, just good times. Whipping other people's vehicles already gives me so much anxiety, but it's fun at the end of the day to experience different vehicles. No center console. You already know this is definitely something that I would go with, especially for your full-size pickup truck. Why not get the most practicality with 6 seats, 3 in the front and 3 in the rear? I can already see he's upgraded his steering wheel right here. Got the nice little red race strap right here up at the center, so you know exactly where your wheel is centered if it wasn't obvious enough from the actual 4-spoked steering wheel design on the steering wheel. Column shifter right here, of course, obviously like a real truck. Dual climate control if you must. You got heated seats in here. You got auto stop start button. You got a tailgate release right here next to the hazard lights. Traction control off, and then I believe this button right here lets you drop down all of the windows at once, which was a really cool feature that General Motors vehicles had even back in the early 2000s. USB-C and USB-C charger right here, also a cigarette style 12-volt charger. This right here would probably be your household wall style 12-volt push button start. Now, as I mentioned before, I'm actually like a real pickup truck buyer, such as the case with this truck. I don't care about the size of the infotainment screen, but like I mentioned before, with the Ram being as Tesla-like as it was in the 5th generation back in 2019, huge screen, so General Motors knew that they had to step their game up in 2022, essentially offering a bigger screen in this truck. Either way, they knew what they had to do just to keep up their sales. A really cool feature I do like about the interior of these General Motors trucks is the fact that they have 2 glove boxes right here. One on the top is not lockable, the one on the bottom is bigger and it is lockable. Up on the roof, you can see the cutout to where the sunroof is supposed to be. You don't need that though, it's a truck. Why would you need a sunroof? And then right here, you got your mirrors, but there's no lights. I guess they feel like these lights right here on the overhead console is enough. Electronic parking brake on the left side of the steering wheel, which he hasn't had any problems with that, so I guess it's good enough. Heated steering wheel button and cruise control situation on the left side of the actual steering wheel, and then on the right side you have your buttons for the center screen and the gauge cluster, and also your talk button, your hang up phone button as well. Such a useful panel in general over here on the left side of the steering wheel situation. Along with your climate control vent, you have your controls for your 4-wheel drive, high, low, all that stuff. You have your headlight situation, auto if you need to. You have the cab bed light right here, also the fog light button, and then your 2 buttons down here to adjust the brightness and your gauge cluster, along with any other ambient lighting that's featured in the front dashboard area. In my previous F-150 video, I mentioned how obvious it was just from the exterior styling to notice just how much room they've added to the cabs of these trucks. But in these General Motors pickup truck cabs, especially with the crew cabs, you can definitely tell they added a lot of space, a lot of inches, at least to the overall length of the truck as well. It's just, you don't really see it until you actually like feel it being in here. It's like, yeah, you know it's a lot bigger than like a 2006 would be or something like that, because this seat is all the way back and I still have at least about 4 or 5 inches from my knees to the back of the seat rest. But at least you got your cloth seats, rubber floor mats, and a carpeted floor. You know me, I would definitely go for the vinyl flooring if possible with this trim level. If not, it is what it is. But on the back of the center console, you do have 2 climate control vents, which are very directional. You can point them in whatever direction you want. Then some USB-Cs and also a 12-volt cigarette style charger down there as well. No center armrest for the backseat passengers, but at least you get a semi-flat load floor. I am noticing the tint that he's got in here now. Even the front windshield is tint. I'm pretty sure this is all 5%, or that might be 15% on the front 2 driver and passenger window right there, but the front may be like 10%, something like that. Either way though, it's almost as good as my cocoon effect. 5% all the way around. I might even do the windshield pretty soon. Let's take a look at the useful space underneath the seat. Now you just pretty much got more room. You can also enjoy more of your relatively flat load floor. But he's got the bottle jack over here on this side, along with some of those little stops you can put in front of your tires so the vehicle won't roll. And he's also got some tire changing equipment right here as well. So there's your tour of the very first General Motors full-size half-ton pickup truck reliability update video on this channel, and basically the newest vehicle to ever be featured in a reliability update. Hopefully this was a great buyer's guide, or whatever your reason for watching one of these videos, just simple entertainment. Every vehicle tends to have their issues, sometimes at different milestones and certain mileage for different owners, but either way, this is a great truck. I would definitely consider it if I wasn't already Ford for life, but you already know the background to that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more automotive related content on this channel. And that's it.